my household. Why have my gods afflicted me? All my kith and kin are deceased, though they were as good could be. I will out and batter the family priest, because my gods have afflicted me. Medieval. My privy and well drain into each other, after the custom of christendie. Fever and fluxes are wasting my mother. Why has the Lord afflicted me? The saints are helpless for all I offer, so are the clergy I used to fee. Henceforward I keep my cash in my coffer, because the Lord has afflicted me. Material. And you should know here that LSD is English slang for pounds, shilling, and pence, and not the hallucinogenic drug we're more familiar with. Material. I run 800 hens to the acre. They die by dozens mysteriously. I am more than doubtful concerning my Maker. Why has the Lord afflicted me? What a return for all my endeavor, not to mention the LSD. I am an atheist now and forever, because this God hath afflicted me. Progressive. Remember, World War I. The Mons Retreat was an incident in France in World War I. Money spent on an army or fleet is homicidal lunacy. My son was killed in the Mons Retreat. Why has the Lord afflicted me? Why are murder, pillage, and arson, and rape allowed by the deity? I will write to the Times deriding our parson, because my God has afflicted me. Chorus. We had a kettle, we let it leak. Our not repairing it made it worse. We haven't had any tea for a week. The bottom is out of the universe. Conclusion. This was none of the good Lord's pleasure, for the spirit he breathed in man is free. But what comes after is measure for measure, and not a God that afflicteth thee. As was the sowing, so the reaping, is now and evermore shall be. Thou art delivered into thine own keeping, only thyself hath afflicted thee. All right. Now, on a less solemn and ominous note, those of you who are familiar with the Bible from Sunday school know the story of the prodigal son and how he went out in the world and learned some valuable lessons, and how he came home and the fatted calf was slaughtered for him, such. So this is Kipling's version. Now, I should mention to you here that this and some other verses by Kipling have been set brilliantly to music by a musician named Leslie Fish. And this kind of fits. Kipling himself said that when he got it just right, he could kind of hear his poem humming along there. So a great many of them are set quite well to music. I can't sing this right now. I haven't got the accompaniment, but you can kind of sense the rhythm of it as it goes along. So this is The Prodigal Son. Here I come to my own again, fed, forgiven, and known again, claimed by bone of my bone again, and cheered by flesh of my flesh. The fatted calf is dressed for me, but the husks have greater zest for me. I think my pigs will be best for me, so I'm off to the yards afresh. I never was very refined, you see, and it weighs on my brother's mind, you see, but there's no reproach among swine, do you see, for being a bit of a swine. So I am off with wallet and staff to eat the bread that is 3 parts chaff to wheat, but glory be there's a laugh to it, which isn't the case when we dine. My father glooms and advises me, my brother sulks and despises me, and mother catechizes me till I want to get up and swear. And in spite of the butler's gravity, I know that the servants have it. I am a monster of moral depravity, and I'm damned if I think it's fair. I wasted my substance, I know I did, on riotous living, well, so I did, but there's nothing on record to show I did any worse than my betters have done. They talk of the money I spent out there, they hint at the pace I went out there, but they all forget that I was sent out there alone as a rich man's son. So I was a mark for plunder at once, and lost my cash, can you wonder, at once? But I didn't give up and knock under at once. I worked in the yards for a spell, where I spent my nights and my days with hogs, and shared their milk and maize with hogs, till I guess I have learned what pays with hogs, and I have that knowledge to sell. So back I go to my job again, not so easy to rob again, or quite so ready to sob again on any old neck that's around. I'm leaving, pater, goodbye to you. God bless you, mater, I'll write to you. I wouldn't be impolite to you, but brother, you are a hound. All righty. We have a little time left by the clock here. So that was Kipling, as I say, poems I thought would be important for the moral instruction of children. There's a great deal more to Kipling. There's Kipling's History of England in verse, which goes from early Roman times down to the present, actually, or down to his present. Kipling polemicizing on subjects like foreign policy and such like that. And the thing is, most polemical poetry is, face it, bad. I've listened to an awful lot of it, and most of it just reeks. It's terrible. So I think try this one on for size. This is from Kipling's History of England, and it's called The Norman Conquest. You may recall in your histories, William the Conqueror invaded England in 1066, killed King Harold Godwinson at the Battle of the Battle of Senlac Ridge, yes. And this poem is about that conquest and England later, how England is shaping later on. Listen and you can hear the imagery of the anvil. You can hear the clang, clang of this. England's on the anvil, hear the hammers ring, clanging from the Severn to the Tyne. Never was a blacksmith like our Norman king. England's being hammered, hammered, hammered into line. England's on the anvil, heavy are the blows, but the work will be a marvel when it's done. Little bits of kingdom cannot stand against her foes. England's being hammered, hammered, hammered into one. There shall be one people, it shall serve one Lord. Neither priest nor baron shall escape. It shall have one law and tongue, soul and strength and sword. England's being hammered, hammered, hammered into shape. Okay, like that one? Would you like another? About the Dutch in the Medway. In the 17th century, the mid-1600s, England's most serious rival towards being the major maritime power was the Netherlands. And I think in the, can't recall the date, but in the mid-1600s, a Dutch fleet actually sailed up the Thames and set a substantial part of London on fire. So this was Kipling, and of course, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that there's a message about Kipling's view on foreign policy here too. Yes. If wars were won by feasting, or victory by song, or safety found in sleeping sound, how England would be strong. But honor and dominion are not maintained so. They're only got by sword and shot, and this the Dutchmen know. The monies that should feed us you spend on your delight. How can you then have sailor-men to aid you in your fight? Our fish and cheese are rotten, which makes the scurvy grow. We cannot serve you if we starve, and this the Dutchmen know. Our ships in every harbor be neither whole nor sound, and when we seek to mend a leak, no oakum can be found. Or if it is, the caulkers and carpenters also, for want of pay, have gone away, and this the Dutchmen know. Mere powder, guns, and bullets, we scarce can get at all. Their price was spent in merriment and revel at Whitehall, while we in tattered doublets from ship to ship must row, beseeching friends for odds and ends, and this the Dutchmen know. No king will heed his promises, no court will pay our claims. The king and court for their disport do sell the very Thames. For now off naked Chatham do Reuter's topsails show. We dare not meet them with our fleet, and this the Dutchmen know. Thank you very much.